In the British version of The Office, a character named Don looks to the camera and says, I've been told it's been better to be at the bottom of a ladder that I want to climb rather than halfway up one I don't. I love this analogy. It reminds me of Stephen Covey's quote that if the ladder you're climbing isn't leaning against the right wall, then every step you take just gets you to the wrong place faster. This is a great way to think about life planning. What is the money for? Where are we going with this life? Because most people don't really think about what they want to do, where they want to go. It's easy for us to look around and think, what am I supposed to do? And that what I'm supposed to do usually starts with things like go to school, go to college, go to grad school, get a job, get a better job, get promoted, find a spouse, have some kids, raise the kids, retire, play some golf, and then die. Right? We never stop to think what we actually want. So this is where you can see people who get a midlife crisis who say, look, I've been living for the wrong stuff. Near-death experience. Folks who have a brush-in with death will come out and say, man, I've been sweating the small stuff. I've been living the wrong way. Now, the alternative is to define what we actually want, and we can climb our own ladder. That doesn't mean to say that we should not do what anything that the Joneses are doing or anything that society's doing. It's let's be more intentional why. So to climb the right ladder is to take a look inside ourselves and say, what do we truly value? What do we actually value? So a lot of people don't know what they value. In fact, a lot of people don't even know that they value something. They live as if they value what they're supposed to value. So looking into what's important to us is the first step to figure out where do we want to put this ladder? What ladder do we actually want to climb? So we can take a look at our values and see, are we finding something important because we value the thing, or does the thing that we value lead to something else? In other words, you might value something, and if that thing that you value is to get something else, then we call that an instrumental value. We value it. It's still important, but we value it only insofar as we can get something else. And if you keep asking, why is this important? Why is this important? Eventually you'll get to what they call a terminal value. That's the thing that you value for the sake of valuing it. That's the thing that you value even if you couldn't tell anybody. So for example, somebody might value music. And they value music because when they listen to music, they get lost in it. They love how the music sways them. They love how the music makes them feel something. It plays with their emotions. They can feel up and down. They go on a ride when they listen to music. They like going to live events because they love hearing the music live with all the other people, and it just sends them to a place that they really enjoy. And maybe they like playing music. They like replicating other music that they've heard, and they find it very satisfying to try to figure out how can I get from that chord to this chord, and how do I replicate the sounds that these people are doing, and can I finally make that jump? Can I finally get that drum fill? And they might even like composing music, putting music together, and they're doing this even if they couldn't tell anybody. Another person might value music as well, but they value music because this is their job. And they get to go to coffee shops, and they get to go to breweries, and they get to play music for other people, and those people recognize them. Those people praise them. They give them tips. They get recognition. So the same person still values music, but they value music so that, that's the trick, so that they value music so that they can get recognition. So then you might say, well, why is recognition important to him? What is it about recognition that's important? Well, because maybe they're lonely. And so now it's social connection. So they still value music. This isn't like they think they value music. They still value music, but they only value music insofar as it satisfies their value of social connection. And that might even be a need, social connection rather than value. But the music is a means to get something else. In that second example. The first example, that was it. So in other words, if you value something only so you can show other people, if you have this value and it serves some other purpose, it serves some other thing for you. It's like it either serves a different value or I want other people to know that I value this thing. If this thing's only valuable to me if I can tell other people, then that's an instrumental value. That's a means to an end. On the other hand, if I value this thing, and I would value this thing, even if I couldn't tell anybody about it, even if I was on a deserted island, I would still value this thing. Now you've got yourself a terminal value. So if the music person who went to play at coffee shops, would he play music if he was all by himself, Castaway style? That's a good clue to see, is this a real value or is this a means to some other end? Now, the point of all this is not to say that it's wrong to have instrumental values. It's to become more aware of what are those pointing to, because what those point to are truly important to you. And you can set up your life in such a way, or try to set up your life in such a way that you can satisfy most of those values. So there's one more way to look at this. So the way that you express your values. If you've got extrinsic values, this is extrinsic. This is those people that said, look at me, this is what I value. I'm using this value, or music. This value, I use some behavior to try to be in alignment with my values. And if that behavior, I need a specific outcome for that, and then that specific outcome reinforces my behavior, that is a means. Because I'm using that behavior, that value behavior, to get something else. Intrinsic values, these are the ones on the island. This is doing it for the sake of doing it. I can still act in accordance with my values, but the behavior itself is reinforcing. I'm doing this because I like doing this. I'm not doing this to get recognition. I'm not doing this to get a paycheck. I'm not doing this to get anything else. Those things might come with it. But I'm doing this just for the sake of doing this. Now, this is all important because when we look at how we can help clients design their lives, we've got the intersection of life and values. Living a valued life. Valuable living. That's right here. But you don't want your clients to wake up someday and find out that their values are over here. When they wake up and look and say, wait a second, what's going on here? I'm having some kind of midlife crisis. Because these are the Joneses values. I've been doing what I think I'm supposed to do. I've been doing societal expectation behaviors. I've been doing the things that other people told me to do. And Bronnie Ware calls this regret number one. I lived a life that others expected of me instead of a life that's truly valuable to me. So we can actually help eliminate this gap. And just to make sure that it's clear, this isn't like we're setting up one ladder. We're not putting one ladder up against one wall because things change. Life changes. Circumstances change. Values change. So instead of thinking it like one ladder that we're going to climb, every day is a ladder. And every day we get to decide where to put that ladder. Every day we can help clients decide where they want to go. Hey, Derek Hagan here at Money Quotient. If this was interesting to you, if this is something that you want to learn more about, this is the kind of thing that we teach at Money Quotient. We teach financial advisors communication skills, facilitation techniques. We teach them about life planning. And basically it all comes down to Stephen Covey's quote, what good is climbing a ladder if it's leaning against the wrong wall? Or if the ladder you're climbing isn't leaning against the right wall, every step you take just gets you to the wrong place faster. So we help advisors, help clients identify the right wall. So if this is interesting to you, head on over to moneyquotient.com. You can learn about our True Wealth planning process, which is our model of financial life planning, which guides clients through 5 stages and 4 inquiry categories. These are the types of conversations that you have. So please let me know if you want to learn more, moneyquotient.com.